Hello, EFR 513 students. Today we're going to be going over exercise 8, example large data set analysis, 2, key. So the variables we're going to be working with are shown in the first page, and you can see these are coming from the code book. So it's very important that you know when you have a large data set what's in your code book. So you want the code book. So we can see we got the IEP, that means special ed, flagging 01, how much difficulty ninth grader is feeling anxious or depressed. Now, this is interesting. Is anxious the same as depressed? I would think not. So that's like not a very good question, but we're going to use it. And is ninth grader currently taking medication for ADD or ADHD? And then finally, how much difficulty ninth grader making friends and keeping friends? A lot of difficulty, no difficulty, blah, blah, blah. So these are the questions we want. So what we want to do is first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and create a sub data frame, because what you don't want to be doing is replicating entire large data sets. You'll run out of memory. So these are the variables in our study, and there could be quite a few more, but so I'm going to go ahead and open the HSLS09 data frame, and we've done that in previous assignments. So here it is, just right here, data frame, and we just line up these with commas in there, and we bring them all in, and we see here's our data frame. So coming in R, what that looks like is I'm just going to block this and run that. And we see we get the data frame underneath. No errors. We see the -8s, -9s in there. That's okay right now. I've called it IEP_S. So for number 2, how many students with IEP, special education students, feel anxious or depressed? So here are the variables we're going to have there. So to feel anxious or depressed, I've got a lot of difficulty or a little difficulty, or no difficulty. So here's our anxious or depressed elements, and our IEP would be 1. So we see that in there. And when we look at our code, we'll look at right here. Okay, we're using our which command. Now again, remember that's very important to us. That's like where in SAS. Okay, so I take my IEPS data frame, and I'm going to come in here and where the square brackets, and I'm going to say which. IEP equals 1. That means they're special ed, and they're depressed, or in the mood. Okay, and so the mood, lost my mouse here. The mood right over here. Remember the mood. We'll come back up here. A lot of difficulty, a little difficulty. So that's 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2 right here. And then this comma is very important, because remember we're working with the rows. Okay, and we want all the runs. So when I run that, here's what I get out. And here's the data set out. So I've just asked for IEP 1 and mood 1 and 2. I'm not concerned about the others. I check the dimensions, and how many students are there? There's 328. Because how many meet IEP? IEP is all the 1s, and the moods are the 1s and 2s. So we don't care about the other 2 variables this year. So we find there's 328 of them. For number 3, of the students with IEP, special education, feeling anxious or depressed, what percent have difficulty making friends? So IEPs is 1. Feeling anxious or depressed is 1 and 2, right? A lot or a little. And making friends, what percentage have difficulty making friends? So here's my a lot of difficulty, a little difficulty, and no difficulty. Okay. So I'm first going to get the, um, the students here. Let me come down. Okay, so here's my code. So I'm calling it IEP underscore depressed underscore no friends. So I got IEP S, that's my data frame. And so I'm going to have those conditions here. Here's my IEP condition. Here's my mood condition. And this is 1 and 2. So I see this right here. And then I have friends. So what I want right there is the 1 through 3. So what I'm looking at friends up here, a lot of difficulty, a little difficulty, or no difficulty. So what I'm doing in this step is I'm getting rid of the 8 or 9s, because when we look at our question again, it's of the students feel anxious or depressed, what percentage have difficulty making friends? So I'm after that percentage, and so I need my ones that have and then don't have, because it's not just a number here. So I'm taking the 1, 2s, and 3s of friends right here. Lot, little, and no difficulty. So that gives me this. And then I ask for a table. And you can see here I have the 1, 2, and 3s of friends. Here, I'm going to bump this friends down a little bit. So I have the 1, 2, and 3. So 1 and 2 are have difficulty, and 3 have no difficulty. Right? So now what we'd like to do is, this tells us what we have, and what I'd like to do now is combine the 1 and 2s. Okay, so first I ask for a table, and then I ask for the probability, but I'd have to combine these two to look at the probability for 3. And so here it is. So what I do is I pull out just the probability of friends. I pull out it as an individual vector or just data frame. So right here. And then as we can see here, I'm going to come in and combine. I'm going to take out the 1. I'm going to place 1 and 2 and combine a lot of difficulty with a little difficulty. So what I'm doing is I'm making the 1 a 2. So now remember, we had 1 and 2, which were some form of difficulty. 3 was no difficulty. So by pulling out the difficulty ones, now these meet all the other conditions right here. Right? These meet all the other conditions. And I'm going to make if you're equal 1, I'm going to give it a 2, and that's going to make the 1 and 2s. So now we're just left with 2s and 3s, and then I get the percentages out. So here's my percentages out, and I can say that of the students with IEP and feel anxious or depressed, 43% have difficulty making friends. The difficulty making friends was the 1 and 2 condition, which I just combined up here. So there's my number, 43%, 43.75% is the answer to that. So number 4, Of the students with IEP, special education, and feel anxious or depressed and have difficulty making friends, what percentage are on medication for ADHD? So now I have the meds. We got 0 and 1s if you're on meds. So again, this is another issue of what percentage here. So I'm going to go through this. Then the first time I'm going to do the IEP condition, the feel anxious condition, the depressed condition, but I'm going to keep both conditions of friends and get rid of the -8, -9. So as we see down here within the text, this is quite a long one, but we can do this, is right here, the IEP, here's the mood, here's the friends, 1 and 2, and here's the med, right? And I'm taking both med conditions. And then out from that, I'm going to pull just the med out because these students are the ones that meet all those conditions. And here I just have 2 again. I just have 0 and 1s, so the percentage is very easy. So the probability table. So here when I ask for table, it's just going to give me the numbers. But when I ask for the probability of the table, it's giving me the probabilities out. And so of the students with IEPs, feeling anxious or depressed, and have difficulty making friends, 63.88% are on medication for ADHD. Okay, so that's my answer. Number 5, of the students, so now here we're going to do number 5, of the students without an IEP, special education, and feel anxious or depressed and have difficulty making friends, what percentage? So the only thing here that's different is now I'm going to look at IEP 0. That's the ones I want to pull out. Okay, so these would be what would pass as our normal kids, or not under special education care with an IEP, individual education plan. All special ed students have to have an individual education plan. So here's my code. So IEP underscore S is my main data frame. That's what I created initially. So here's my which command, and notice it's in the square brackets. And now IEP is equal to 0. See that? Okay. Then I have mood 1 or 2, friends 1 or 2, and meds 0 and 1. Now again, because this is just 2, we don't have to subset it like we did up above. And that pulls my data set out. So I can see just get a small number. And the probability, so table takes meds. And so if I'm on an IEP with all those other conditions, what's the probability of taking meds? And we get 46.466, or right here, of the students without an IEP who feel anxious or depressed and have difficulty making friends, 46.66% are on medication or ADHD meds. So now notice that our number is not large. Okay, so if I'm not on IEP but I have those conditions, I've got a high percentage, but there's not many of them. Okay, for number 6, of the students without an IEP, special education, who do not feel anxious or depressed and do not have difficulty making friends, with percentage of medication for ADHD. So when I run that, here it is. So notice our similar command. So it's no IEP, no depression, yes, yes friends, and meds. Okay, so here they are, right? Each one under the conditions. So here's my code. So I come up with a very small number and come in here, reached option, and then so that gives me my um, uh, data out right here, and then I pull out one of those, or ask for the dimension of that, and right here I pull it out. Right, I'm just after the meds, and then I calculate my percentage. So I do the probability prob table, and I get out here, and we see that we only have 18% taking meds. One was taking meds. So of the students without an IEP and do not feel anxious or depressed and do not have difficulty making friends, only 1.86% are on medication. That's probably a good thing, right? So you hope these are pretty normal, happy kids. Now, number 7, I say now using the variables, come up with your own interesting question and write the code for it. Okay, so using these variables, come up with your own question. Okay, and that's it for this assignment. Now, please upload it in Word, just similar to what I'm doing here. When you're uploading it in R, I'm not seeing the output. And what I'd like to do is when you run it, I'd like to see a little output like this. You don't have to bring pages and pages, but just a sample of the output in the when you run it. Okay, thank you so much.